Okay, let's learn about some synthetic fibers. Some of them one you may have never heard of before. But synthetic fibers really have helped shape the world as we know it. And really, the difference between synthetic and natural fibers is really the raw material that is used. So let's dive in and learn more about them. And first up is nylon. Nylon actually was the first synthetic fiber developed in the United States. So it was developed in 1928 by the DuPont company. Hopefully you know that company. And it was created by a research program to just diversify the types of products that they made. Ultimately, the fiber that was made was known as nylon, 6 comma nylon. There's a comma. It was introduced as a woman's hosiery item, and it was an instant success. And the name nylon was chosen for the fiber, but we really don't know why they chose that word. And at the time, there were no laws specifying generic names for fibers. So some of the properties of nylon is that it has, excellent durability. Like I said earlier, it has abrasion resistance and tenacity. It has varied aesthetics based on what the end use of the item is. It has poor absorbency, so unfortunately, on the comfort side, it will make you sweaty, and it's easy to care for. And finally, on the sustainability side, nylon resists degradation, so it doesn't break apart easily. It doesn't degrade quickly, but as a result, it resists mold and mildew and rot and many chemicals. So nylon products that are made for apparel last longer. That's why you can go in the thrift store, you can find a 60-year-old nylon shirt. Next is one of the most widely used synthetic fibers, those twins, poly and ester, right? Polyester. And polyester, the polyester fiber, the first was actually produced in England, but it was introduced and created in the United States in 1951, also by the DuPont company. Polyester is sometimes referred to as the workhorse fiber. It is the most widely used synthetic fiber, in part because its fiber form is extremely versatile, and it can be blended with many other fibers. And that contributes to just desirable properties that have a blend without destroying the integrity of either of the blended fibers. In terms of the properties of polyester, aesthetic wise, it has a variety of aesthetics because it can easily be altered by, selecting the fiber size and also what it's blended with. So it has a variety of aesthetic properties. Its durability is excellent. It can last for a long time. It has a high abrasion resistance, so it doesn't degrade easily. In its unblended form, if it's 100% polyester garment, it does have poor comfort. And when I say comfort, it does not wick sweat away from your body. It tends to be hot. It can make you hot very easily, and that's part of the reason why it's usually blended with cotton if it's going to be used in a more humid environment. Polyester is easy to care for. That's one of its greatest properties, is that it can be machine washed. Some items can be dry cleaned, but basically it's because of what they're blended with. But the care instructions for polyester are easy, relatively simple: wash in warm water, machine dry, medium heat, remove promptly with drying, hang up, and steam dry. So the easiest care instructions ever with polyester garments. In terms of sustainability, polyester has the same pretty much characteristics that apply to nylon. And polyester, however, does use less energy to produce than nylon, but more energy than the production of cotton. Polyester just uses small amounts of water during its production. But it does still use some heavy chemicals as well. Polyester is the most widely used synthetic fiber in the United States. It's just very important in woven fabrics for apparel and interior textiles. It blends well. It's blended with cotton. Its blended fabrics are attractive, durable, and comfortable. And it can be used in woven fabrics and in knitted fabrics. Our next synthetic fiber is acrylic, or its scientific label, acrylitone trityle. And it was the first synthetic fiber. It was created in Germany in 1893. And the marketing of acrylic takes on that it has wool-like properties. So generally, acrylic items are used in the same categories as wool are, oftentimes most in knitted garments. The properties of acrylic fibers is that they're soft, warm, lightweight, and resilient, and they make really easy care fabrics. So acrylics really have been called the warmth without the weight fiber. So wool sweaters tend to be thick and heavy, and acrylic fabrics tend to be lighter. So acrylics have been really successful in end uses such as sweaters and blankets in areas that used to be dominated by wool. Aesthetically, again, it has wool-like properties. It's attractive. It has a soft, pleasant hand, and again, the bulkier items tend to be wool-like, and they imitate wool more successfully than any other synthetic fiber mimics a natural fiber. Like all synthetic fibers, there is a sustainability issue. Acrylic is processed like the other natural fibers from petrochemicals, but specifically some of the other hazardous chemicals that are used in the creation of acrylic is more significant. But acrylic does resist degradation. It's not susceptible to mold, mildew, or rot. And last, we're going to talk about a fiber that you may not have heard of. The others you've heard in their context, but the last one is olefin, and it was created in the 1920s. It's actually a byproduct of the natural gas industry. That it's a leftover chemical that has been used to make a synthetic fiber. Olefin is a great fiber because of the combination of properties that it has. It's really good for interior textiles, apparel that doesn't need ironing, and some technical uses as well. And olefin fibers are strong and resistant to abrasion, inexpensive, and static resistant. So you're probably like, why don't I know this fiber, right? Traditionally, it's been used in underwear, socks, and glove liners, and some active sportswear. But in a contemporary context, it's used in wind, water, and cold barrier as layers in active and outdoor wear. So your base layer, and you probably know it under the name of Thinsulate, which is ultra fine version of olefin. Okay, so that is your overview of synthetic fibers. So next, you can dive into the next part of the lecture.